Hey guys, what's going on? Jeb here, and in today's video, we're going to be doing a little bit more technical analysis on Bitcoin and the cryptocurrency markets, because funnily enough, in yesterday's video, I was talking about how Bitcoin was in this symmetrical triangle pattern right here, and I was discussing how there's most likely going to be a bullish breakout of it coming here over the next couple of days. And lo and behold, it wasn't the next couple of days that a bullish breakout came. In fact, just about an hour or two after I finished recording that video, Bitcoin did, in fact, break bullish and rallied all the way up here to right around $8,300 on a wick. And from there, Bitcoin pulled back and started garnering support right here around $8,100, which was, of course, previous resistance. This is actually a very bullish move for Bitcoin, even though Bitcoin only moved about 1 to 2%. So in today's video, we're going to be discussing if this bullish breakout is indicative of a new longer-term uptrend in Bitcoin, because a lot of the technical indicators are looking bullish, or is Bitcoin actually entering a longer-term head and shoulders pattern with a shoulder right here, a head right here, and a shoulder right here, and we should see Bitcoin start moving to the downside coming over the next week or two. Those are both very, very possible scenarios, so we're going to be discussing both of them in today's videos and trying to get to the bottom of which one is most likely to happen. So guys, we got a lot on the agenda today, and I think it's going to be a very good video that I think you guys are going to enjoy. But before we dive on into it, I do want to remind you that we are still running that sale on the Cryptocurrency Technical Analysis Academy, guys. We've had about 600 people run through the Cryptocurrency Technical Analysis Academy, and I don't really ever remember having one of them complain about the content in here, guys. There is over 9 hours of content across 33 videos, and there's soon to be a 34th video on the VPVR that I should be recording today, and that should be up in the course tomorrow. If you're in the course, you will be getting access to that video. If you join the course, you get access to all current and future videos. But if you want to learn how to do technical analysis, you want to learn how to call breakouts like this, you want to learn how the markets move the way they do, why the markets move the way they do, so that then you can go and trade the markets because you understand how they move. The Cryptocurrency Technical Analysis Academy is a great place to do it, guys. Click the link in the description, apply the coupon code JUNE2019 at checkout, and you get 20% off the course price. So without much further ado, guys, let's go ahead and get right on into the video. The first thing that I want to discuss is just a little bit of history about what we are looking at here with Bitcoin. Of course, Bitcoin came down into this, we had a little bit of a dive right over here, and perhaps, like I said in the other video, this was the correction we were looking for, and it just wasn't quite as big as we thought it was going to be, because we have to have more of a bullish bias now that we've entered a bull market. But nevertheless, Bitcoin came down here, and we traded around in this consolidation pattern for a few days, and we did eventually break out of it. As I mentioned in yesterday's video, we were most likely going to break out of it because Bitcoin was doing most of its trading up here against the resistance instead of right here against the support. When you see a market do that, it's actually pretty easy to call which direction it's going to break out. Another thing I actually forgot to mention in yesterday's video was a bit of an uptrend right here that Bitcoin is still following. It's not a perfect uptrend. It would be kind of hard to define that with a line, but that's pretty much what we're looking at, is an uptrend right here, kind of an uptrending zone of support that Bitcoin was having push it into this zone of resistance and allowed Bitcoin to break bullish. Like I said, from there, Bitcoin did break through this zone of support, as we can see, or excuse me, this zone of resistance. As we can see, Bitcoin was having a zone of resistance right here, and just like we talk about in our support and resistance videos down here, convergence of support and resistance and the gauging of the strength of support and resistance, in both of those videos we discuss how when previous resistance becomes new support, that's a very bullish sign, and that's exactly what we've seen happen here, guys. Bitcoin broke bullish, and we came up here and defined support as $8,100 instead of having $8,100 as a level of resistance. So we've broken out, and that's a very bullish thing indeed. One thing we also need to look at would be the 20 exponential moving average, because as you guys know, at the beginning of this consolidation pattern, we didn't really have this downtrend defined yet, but we knew we were in a consolidation pattern anyway, because Bitcoin was using the 20 EMA as a level of resistance. And it took it a few days for that downtrend to actually start defining start being defined as the level of resistance on this Bitcoin symmetrical triangle pattern. We were using the 20 EMA, but then we did, and eventually Bitcoin broke out of it. And when Bitcoin did break out of this downtrend, we saw that Bitcoin actually got above, once again, the 20 exponential moving average. Lo and behold, that is a very important moving average for Bitcoin, and the fact that we came below it for about a week or so indicates that this right here, this little nothing that saw Bitcoin go down to only about $7,500, could have actually been the extent of the bearishness that we're going to see for Bitcoin. As I was talking about in yesterday's video, perhaps we did need as big of a correction as we thought we did, because we now are, of course, in a bull market, and everyone knows it, so people are a lot more bullish on Bitcoin. They're BTFDing a lot more than they would otherwise, and they're trying to dollar cost average in the market. They're putting long-term investments in the market. Overall, there's just a lot more longer-term buying pressure on the market that makes rallies a lot stronger and makes downtrends a lot weaker, and that may be what we've seen here. It's very possible that we've seen the extent of this downtrend. Like I said, we're going to discuss the head and shoulders theory here in a little while to see whether or not that is actually a potential scenario that could play out. But before we get on into that, I want to look at some of the technical indicators and see what they have to say about this market right now, because they've updated since yesterday, of course, because, you know, cryptocurrency markets are 24/7. One of the ones I want to point out to you is the daily MACD. This is getting more and more bullish every single day. In fact, the amount of bullishness it's getting is going parabolic. You see that happen on MACD sometimes. It'll just kind of go parabolic like we saw over here, just go whoop, way up here, and then we're kind of going in inverse parabola right down here. We're getting closer and closer together. These two lines are the MACD line, the signal line down here, excuse me, MACD line down here and the signal line up here. They're converging on themselves faster and faster and faster every single day, partially because Bitcoin is going more and more green every single day. We're looking like we're going to have a cross within the next week here, a bullish cross above the 0 level on the histogram. That's a very bullish thing for Bitcoin's MACD, and that would probably see Bitcoin rally up to $10,000 or more. I would be very surprised if Bitcoin did not go to $10,000 if it goes into a rally. Let me say that again. If Bitcoin does continue this rally, I would be surprised if it didn't top out at least $10,000. I would be it'd be kind of strange if Bitcoin just topped out at $9,300 when $10,000 is well in the purview of what this rally could accomplish. One other thing I want to point out would be the MACD on the 4-hourly chart, guys. The 4-hourly chart is also very important to Bitcoin, and as we can see, the histogram's kind of jumping around here a little bit, but MACD in general on the 4-hour has been trending to the upwards direction over the last couple of weeks or so. Over the last week or so, ever since about the 5th or 6th of June, which, like I said in yesterday's video, 6th of June really seems to be our turning point here. Ever since then, Bitcoin had a bullish cross and has been generally trending to the upside. That's a very bullish sign as well. One other thing I want to point out is that Bitcoin does have its 50 simple moving average coming up here to give it a lot of support on the daily chart. Bitcoin has not had to come down and test this ever since we broke up back up above it, back over here in February. But should Bitcoin come down here, this should be a major level of support for Bitcoin. This has always been a major level of support for Bitcoin that it will sometimes breach ever so briefly, and then it'll come down and touch the 100 moving average. This is stuff that was going on quite a lot back during the last bull market in 2017. Bitcoin would come down, it would break the 50 moving average, fall down, get support on the 100 simple moving average right here. This gray line's the 100, the 50's the red, and then it would rally even higher. We saw this happen a plethora of times. About 4 times we saw that happen on Bitcoin. If you go back to the very first video that I ever put up on this channel, which was basically predicting the 2018 bear market, I was talking about how Bitcoin likes to break the 50 simple moving average and come down and test the 100. So with that in mind, that actually segues us into our head and shoulders theory about Bitcoin potentially having some kind of pattern that could push us even lower. Let's talk about that. Because as I just mentioned, in bull markets, oftentimes Bitcoin won't actually get support on the 50 simple moving average. It'll actually get support on the 100 simple moving average. This is something I haven't talked about on the channel for over a year because we haven't been in a bull market. But now that we are in a bull market and it's looking like there may be some kind of pullback in the future, who knows? I still think we're quite bullish right now considering Bitcoin has broken bullish. But if we do see a pullback in the future, this is the kind of thing that we're going to be looking for. Bitcoin would more than likely come down here and break through the 50 simple moving average and come down and test the 100 simple moving average as a level of support and bounce off of it. Now, how does that play into our theory about this head and shoulders pattern? Well, if we come in here to the hourly chart, we'll go to the 4-hourly chart actually and take a look at this. What we're going to see is a mess of moving averages. So let me go ahead and take those off. If we take our moving averages off, we can see a little bit more clearly how this simple head and shoulders pattern might actually form. This is very obviously a shoulder right here. This is very obviously a head right here. And Bitcoin looks like it's about to have the same shoulder breadth over here if Bitcoin does rally just a little bit higher. If Bitcoin does rally up to a level of resistance right here around, say, about $8,400 or so, then that would give us a flat level of resistance to make our shoulder line instead of our neckline down here. This uptrend of support would be our neckline. This would be our shoulder line. It's very possible that Bitcoin, because we're in an uptrending market, in a bull market, actually comes up here and sets a level of resistance even higher than the first shoulder, and we see a shoulder line that looks something like this. That kind of thing is possible, and it does happen, and it's actually not as far-fetched as you would think it would be. Sometimes you will see that happen. So guys, that is a scenario that we could see play out over here in the next couple of days, is that this is the neckline of support for Bitcoin, and that we see a shoulder line form up here and Bitcoin rejects off of it. Pretty much, I think that this is going to be a problem if it happens. I don't think that we need to worry about this until it happens. Let me explain exactly what I mean by that, because that's a little confusing. I don't think we need to worry about a head and shoulders pattern unless for some reason Bitcoin gets resistance and rejects off of $8,400 to $8,600. If we see Bitcoin rally up to this, if we see Bitcoin rally up to this zone right here, then we're going to see Bitcoin is, excuse me, I had the wrong tool there. If we see Bitcoin rally up to this zone right here, then we're going to see Bitcoin actually either break through it or we're going to reject off of it. But if Bitcoin does go ahead and reject off of this zone right here, then that's going to start looking like a very, very strong head and shoulders pattern that could see Bitcoin come all the way down to maybe around $7,000 or so. If we see see Bitcoin reject off of here or even a little bit below or a little bit above it, then that's probably what we're going to see. But if Bitcoin does manage to break through this and continue moving to the upside, then I really don't see where Bitcoin should stop here. Bitcoin has had plenty of opportunities over the last 2 weeks to form a major downtrend. Right here, Bitcoin could have fallen through the floor all the way through to $6,000 if the bears were well and truly that strong. Bitcoin could have broken bearish out of this consolidation pattern many times if the bears were well and truly that strong. And while Bitcoin hasn't had a major bullish breakout of this consolidation pattern right here, even though this hasn't been all that big, this isn't a very big consolidation pattern, guys. So it's not the end of the world that Bitcoin hasn't broken more bullish. If Bitcoin does manage to get above $86, $87, $8,800, then we're probably looking at a $10,000 Bitcoin before the end of July, maybe even before the end of June, guys. These markets move faster than you think they will sometimes. I'm going to go ahead and wrap up the idea of the head and shoulders pattern, though. If we do get resistance here and we fall back down, we're probably either going to get support down around $6,800, or we're going to instead get support down here around the 100 simple moving average, which is currently sitting down around $6,000. I see not a lot of people, but some people in the comment section, in the premieres and whatnot, saying they expect a $4,000 Bitcoin or $3,000 Bitcoin or $5,000 Bitcoin. I'm not gonna. I respectfully disagree. I don't think Bitcoin is going to break back below $6,000. I don't think we have any reason to believe that at the moment. I don't think that there's a good, compelling argument to be made that Bitcoin is going to go below $6,000. There is definitely an argument to be made, although I don't think it's the right argument, that Bitcoin could go down to $6,000 and bounce off of there and continue rallying. That was my opinion as of about 2 weeks ago, but seeing what we had happen here over these days right here, where Bitcoin could have gone much more bearish than it did, but nevertheless it didn't, even though we broke below the 20 exponential moving average, we didn't see Bitcoin rally to the downside. That leads me to believe that Bitcoin is still a lot more bullish than perhaps we were giving it credit for. We have to continue recalibrating our technical analysis compass for the bull market, because we were a lot more bearish during the bear market and it served us well. Our technical analysis was on point, but we need to be able to recalibrate our compasses to point to the bullish direction, because Bitcoin doesn't have as big of pullbacks in bull markets and it doesn't have as small of rallies in bull markets as it would in a bear market. So you have to keep that in mind. You have to recalibrate your compass for when you're in a bull market. That's a very important thing that you need to do. And also when you enter a new bear market, you do as well. So with all that said, guys, where do we think Bitcoin is headed? Well, in general, I think Bitcoin is headed to the upside. I will show you one more thing before we wrap the video up, and to do that, we're going to go ahead and get rid of that downtrend, and we're going to go ahead and put an uptrend of resistance right here and an uptrend of support right here. Bitcoin does find itself in an ascending wedge right here, and I would like to see how Bitcoin breaks out of this. Whether or not it breaks bullish or if it breaks bearish is going to determine a lot of what we've talked about in today's video, but I'm starting to lead, I'm lending myself towards the direction that Bitcoin is going to break bullish. We'll discuss why. Bitcoin seems to be rather bullish on its MACD. We're having a bullish cross come here relatively soon. Bitcoin has been relatively bullish considering the fact that it broke bullish just a couple days ago, just yesterday actually. I think we're probably going to break bullish here. If we don't, then we don't. But I think there's a good chance that we break bullish here. Bitcoin, like I said, has had an innumerable amount of opportunities to go ahead and actually go bearish in the longer term time frames, and it simply hasn't done it. So even if Bitcoin does go ahead and break bearish out of this ascending wedge pattern right here, even if it does do that, it's probably not going to fall below this uptrend of support, and it'd probably get support and continue rallying to the upside. It's very possible that we just see this uptrend right here get extended out, and we see Bitcoin comes down here, comes up here and tests it again, and we have this kind of ascending trading channel form over the next couple of days. That's something that very well could happen. Watch out for this breakout, because it's going to be coming today most likely. If you want, since it's not very easy to predict which direction this is going to break out, it's probably going to break bullish, but we'll see. There's a lot of randomness that comes into these charts when you see that these markets are this close to the apex of the rally. As we can see, guys, Bitcoin is very, very close to the end of this consolidation pattern. So it's very difficult to have an accurate prediction of this, even with technical analysis, because there's so much randomness. A bull whale or a bull bear can come in and do a whole lot of damage. So what I would recommend with this is that instead of trying to put a trade in before the breakout, wait for the breakout either to the upside or the downside, maybe 0.5% above or 0.5% below the level of support or resistance, and have the trade there, either a long or a short or a buy or a sell, and go ahead and get into the market after you see the breakout. That's what you normally want to do with breakouts. Don't trade the market before the breakout. Trade the market after the confirmation of said breakout. But anyway, guys, that's pretty much what I want to discuss in today's video. I want to give you guys a general technical analysis update on what Bitcoin is doing and where I think Bitcoin is headed. Like I said, I think we're looking at two major scenarios right here. Bitcoin's probably going to break bullish out of this, and if it does, it's probably going to break bearish and then continue moving to the upside. Anyway, I think Bitcoin is either going to form that head and shoulders pattern we talked about, or it's going to $10,000, guys. Bitcoin is very bullish right now. Even despite having rallied for 120 plus days, Bitcoin is managing to maintain its bullishness through all of these little short-term fall-offs. It's giving giving the bears the satisfaction that they need without actually allowing them to form a major downtrend. So that's a very good thing. Bitcoin seems to be in a very good position, and I'm very excited for the coming bull market, guys. There's a whole lot of money to be made in this market. And in the vein of profiting off of this Bitcoin bull market, back in September 23rd of 2018, I made the Cryptocurrency Technical Analysis Academy. I launched it. I had dozens of you guys join the day it launched, and ever since then, we've had 600 people join the course nearly, around 590. I don't remember the exact number. I'll go ahead and flash it up on screen right now. Bitcoin has started to do very well here over these last 2 months, guys. Bitcoin has started a major rally. We've started a bull market. Bitcoin is looking very bullish for the future. The fundamentals are looking great. The technical analysis is looking great. The future for Bitcoin is looking extremely, extremely bright, guys. I want you to understand just how bullish Bitcoin is. The future of Bitcoin is not talking about Bitcoin going to $10,000. It's not talking about Bitcoin going to $20,000. We're talking about Bitcoin going to $100,000 or $200,000. What we've been discussing in today's video, and just about every single video for the last couple of days, has been short-term technical analysis. Price targets for this bull market I've discussed in other videos. They're way up here, guys. There is a lot of money to be made in this territory, but guess what? You're only going to be able to make that money if you know what you're doing. I got lucky, actually. I will tell you guys that I got into the market about 80% of the way through a bull market, right over here. I got into the market right over here. Guys, if we look at the BLX chart, let me show you something. On the BLX chart, you're going to find that I missed the vast majority of this bull market because I got in right over here. I missed all of this. And at first I was like, well, that just kind of sucks. I missed all that. But you know what? It was actually a good thing for me. And I'll tell you why. I have an advantage over you if you're getting in the market right now. The reason I have an advantage over you is because I got in at the end of a bull market and I had to learn through the bear market. Why is that an advantage? Why was me having to stay in this market every single day for a year and a half? And not had to, I got the opportunity to stay in this market every single day for a year and a half. A bear market, a good thing? I'll tell you why it's a good thing. The reason it's a good thing is because of instead of Bitcoin constantly rallying and me being able to just make easy money and just print money, I had to learn how to make money in a bear market. It's a lot harder to make money in a bear market. It'll teach you a lot more than making money in a bull market will. And when you learn in a bear market, then you have time to prepare for when that bull market comes. So I'm actually very grateful that I got into the market back over here so that I was able to then learn these markets during this time over here and be ready for this bull market. If you're getting into the market right now and the bull market is starting, because it is, you got to get to it. You got to hurry up because these bull markets only last 2 or 3 years. And that seems like a long time, but I'll tell you what, 2 or 3 years can go fast. That is why I made the Cryptocurrency Technical Analysis Academy, guys. I spent 1,000 hours and over a year learning these markets, getting in these markets, trading these markets, working in these markets, doing technical analysis on these markets every single day. It took me a long time. It took a whole lot of time. I'm not going to overblow it and say that it took me a very long time to learn these markets, and it takes everyone a long time to learn these markets. They're complicated. There's a lot that goes into it. You need to understand blockchain technology. You need to understand technical analysis. You need to understand chart rating. You need to understand markets. You need to understand economics. You need to understand a lot. But most importantly, you need to understand technical analysis, because if you don't understand technical analysis, everything else you know about the market will be completely wasted. And guys, it's because of all that I made the Cryptocurrency Technical Analysis Academy, because I will be the first to tell you, even though I'm the one selling the CT2A, I will be the first to tell you the things that you can learn in this course, you can learn on your own on the internet. But let me tell you why you don't want to do that, and why that may be one of the worst decisions of your life if you decide to do that. If you decide to go and try to learn everything in this course on your own, it's going to take you at least 6 months to a year, guys. And by then, Bitcoin's probably going to be trading upwards of $20,000 to $30,000, and you're going to miss out on 300 or 400% gains just by trading without leverage. If you spend 6 or 7 months trying to learn these markets, or a year trying to learn these markets, you're going to miss out on a big part of that bull market, and then you're going to find yourself right here with just a couple months to make all the money you can in the market, because you're hustling and having to hurry to make all your money. And when you hurry, you make mistakes. Instead of doing that, guys, you can run through the 9.5 hours of content we have here in the Cryptocurrency Technical Analysis Academy that I'm always updating. A new video on this should be going out tomorrow on the VPVR. If you want to learn these markets in a timely manner so that you don't waste half of the bull market learning how to trade in these markets, where you want to go is the link in the description. Join the Cryptocurrency Technical Analysis Academy, and you will learn everything you need to know about technical analysis. You'll learn how to do the very basics, from setting up a TradingView and a Binance account, all the way through learning all the technical indicators you're going to need. More of those are being added as time goes on, by the way. We're adding another one tomorrow, like I said, on VPVR. And then we get down into the technical analysis portion. This is theorycraft right here. This is not so much reading indicators, because people think the technical analysis is all that reading indicators. How many indicators have I looked at in today's video? I've looked at a couple moving averages, and I've looked at MACD. That's pretty much all I've looked at. I haven't been bringing up Bollinger Bands and RSI and 20 different technical indicators, because that's not actually what technical analysis is about. Technical analysis is about applying the skills that you've learned and the experience that you've learned and the lessons that you've learned from your own experiences and your own mistakes from other people as well. That's why the longest portion of this course is not technical indicators, because you can learn how to read technical indicators in 5 minutes. The most important part of this course that you're not really going to learn anywhere else, this is stuff that I learned from doing. I didn't learn this stuff from Google searches. This is the kind of stuff that you need to understand. Mass psychology, this is something no one ever talks about. Understanding the mass psychology of a market and understanding how people think, understanding how people interact with levels of support and resistance, how they interact with different technical indicators, how they interact with different time frames is extremely important. Understanding gut feeling, how to get that feeling in your gut that something's going to happen. Just having a feeling that something's going to happen and then it happening. 1 is a great feeling because you get vindicated, and 2 is one of the most powerful pieces of technical analysis you can have that has absolutely nothing to do with chart reading. We talk about that in that video. Market sentiment, similar to mass psychology, but also a very important concept. Golden death crosses, those are golden cross happened recently on Bitcoin, as we can see right down here. Right here we saw a golden cross. That was the beginning of the bull market, guys. This is stuff that you can use and you can apply from this course directly to your technical analysis, and you can use it to make money. One of the people that joined the course recently, Mr. Andre Lee, he actually has been talking to me on Discord quite a lot. We had a nice long conversation in yesterday's video, and he was asking me about the VPVR on the Nano over BTC chart. So I'm going to go ahead and give him a shout out, and we're going to go ahead and talk about what he was looking at. He was looking at the Nano over BTC chart, and I know that he's watching this video. What we're going to go ahead and do here is bring up the VPVR. I'm going to go ahead and look into volume profile. Like I said, a video on this is going to be coming up in CT2A relatively soon. But he was looking at the VPVR, and unfortunately, VPVR is actually part of the Pro membership for TradingView. So what I did is I went ahead, and since he's in the course, I took a screenshot of what he was trying to find down here on the hourly chart on Nano over BTC. And last night, he was actually able to use the VPVR picture that I showed him and a lot of the stuff that he learned in the Cryptocurrency Technical Analysis Academy to predict this breakout. He's a very big fan of Nano. He's been making a lot of money in Nano. Good on you, Mr. Andre Lee. I believe I'm pronouncing your name correctly. You told me that I was. Don't call me a liar. But guys, I do honestly, truly believe in the Cryptocurrency Technical Analysis Academy. I believe in these concepts I've taught in here because I learned them the hard way and the easy way. I learned them both ways. It took me a very long time to learn these concepts, and I don't want you guys to have to do the same thing. It doesn't have to take you 10 years to learn technical analysis, guys. You can spend the rest of this week learning it, and you'll be caught up to speed. It's not something that has to take you a year and a couple thousand hours of learning to do. Guys, click the link in the description down below. Use the coupon code June2019. You'll get 20% off at checkout. I want to thank each and every single one of you for watching, as always, and I also want to thank you for smashing that like button. But anyway, guys, that is going to do it for today's video, like I said, and I do want to thank each and every single one of you for watching again, and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.